So, I talked about an experience in the first two videos I made, and this was about during the 2010 awakening, which wasn't 2010. This is basically a death machine, a soul trap, and I described that I was strapped to a table and hooked up to this device and beamed with energy by a specific faction of a specific agency. Sometimes they describe themselves as the boundaries between light and dark, that if you go from light to dark, then they greet it with open hands, usually, with knives in them. And so they had me strapped to a table, and this has happened before, but nothing like this. It happened often through my childhood, being bounced to different timelines in operation, basically being used as a tool for the dark. But so hooked me up, and I described it as being pushed out into time. It's like this: they hook you up, they basically tie you up technologically, they tether you, and then they unplug you and kick you out. Not you, but that's what they do to people, and that's what happened to me. So I go home. On the way home, driving, I get smashed by a semi, torn apart, die. Wake up, back at the table. So try again, unplug me, kick me out. I walk slowly this time. I drive cautiously, don't get hit. Go home, open the front door, some guy shoots me in the head, die. Wake up, back at the table. Try again. Do the same thing, repeat. Live longer this time. Live for maybe a year. Go to college. Wake up one day being strangled to death. Die. Wake up, back at the table. So this went on for years. Got to the point where I was becoming old. Get kicked out, go home, live my life, meet someone, get married, have kids, die. Wake up, back at the table, try again. Think of getting away that easy. This went on until my soul was separating from my body, and I was basically dissolving. And they have to have your permission to do that. And so it was, the soul can only do that. It turns away from this realm. And so at the end of that, when I felt myself dying, I felt my soul dying, basically going to hell. There was no return. I knew that once I died at the table instead of at one of these other places, that it was going to be for real, and it wasn't a physical death. I had died 100 times, 1,000 times. It was actually a soul death. It was a ontological, a philosophical death, where my energy no longer had the desire to continue on in any experience. And so at that point I cried out to the truth, to the love. I can talk about it a lot more. I don't get as choked up. I used to get choked up as soon as I would get to this part. Early time, after it happened, for probably 3 or 4 years, I would just start weeping and completely bawling. A lot of it with joy. And so the sky basically opened up, and it was like some type of shining light. It was literally like you took a hammer and you cracked the sky, and the hammer was made out of light. It was a type of, I don't know, and the crack sounded ching, of the hammer striking was sound harmonics, and it was a blaze of light, of bright white light. And that made a shooting explosion, like star asterisk explosion of light. And in that crack, people came down and basically said, nope, get off him. He picked us. You don't have the right. And in that moment, I saw the glory of the universe, because it's a free will universe. And they were only doing what they were doing because I hadn't expressed my deliberate, clear free will to go with light, to not play that game. And that's not a polarity game. That's life and death. That's hell or above. Trust me. That's not a polarity game. They take souls, they dissolve them in machines, and then they eat them. And then no one comes back from that. So anyway, I realized that environment I was in, it wasn't a device. They were actually letting me go and letting me live and killing me off in a timeline and bouncing me back to that artificial dimension and doing that until I died in 40, 100, 1,000 timelines. And the goal was to kill me off on as many as they could. And once they do it on all of them, I no longer have an incarnative existence on Earth. At least they kill me off on enough where I can't expand and catch up, because there's infinite. Well, it's technically not, but it's virtually the same way, because it's like a balloon or somebody, I don't know, like something like a baby growing. More timelines. They just grow back. So they killed off 1,000 of them. So then I had 2% of what I had originally. So that means it took me 10 years to regrow back, give or take, to regrow back 50% to 80% of those timelines. So now I'm back to 60, 80, whatever percent it is of the original. They grew back. I expanded it. I took another deep breath in. After so many years now, I'm spread back out over various layers of the Earth, or of Earths, which is just a kind of environment